Just burped.
Good timing.
It was good timing. I had to squeak it in before you hit the record button.
Welcome, everybody, to Two Dads Talking.
Hello.
Special announcement about this week's episode. This is the last one for the month of October that will not be Halloween themed, despite Doug's
Yeah.
best efforts to get me to not do things. We're going to have some fun Halloween stuff, and I'm going to go crazy with some odds. And I may even try to launch a little bonus content, some really short little 20-minute drops throughout the month of October because I friggin' love Halloween.
It's true, you do. We did have to lay some ground rules.
We did. I'm not allowed to summon demons. I'm not allowed to bring on full-blown witches.
Which you'd think it would be real easy to convince Tom to not do any of this stuff, considering his Subaru haunting. But apparently not.
The Subaru wasn't the scary part. It was the house and the voices and the laughing.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, but the Subaru was the start. That was like the appetizer, so.
But that was the one that I could write off in my head and be like, maybe there's a loose wire. Or maybe the
Yeah.
connection's bad. Like
That was
the part I
unloosed the
could
very next day.
Right. That was the part that I could have explained to myself if I really needed to. Like I could have found ways to explain that. That would have been something I could have gotten there with. The rest of it, oh boy. Yeah, I couldn't quite figure out justifications for the rest.
Yeah, occasionally I actually think about that story and I think I just think about how this is going to be a weird segue, but as the raised Catholic kind of boy, like I could sit here and talk all day about like theocracy and doctrine and theory behind various religions and all the whole like, religions have some truth and blah, blah, blah. But just Tom's story about like, oh yeah, that was when we took all the crucifixes off the walls and stuff like that. And you're like, what? Excuse me?
Yeah, that was the crazy part about it.
Even if it's not the best or correct, it's like, oh, maybe this shit actually does something.
Yeah,
maybe it works. Yeah, maybe it works for some reason on something. I don't know.
If you haven't heard that story yet, because it seems like we picked up about 60 or 70 new listeners over the last 2 weeks.
When
that's
was that?
episode 42.
It was that long ago?
Oh yeah, yep. That
was
was
guacamole.
this time last year. That was November of last year.
Because
that was when we sold the house and moved in here. It was right around Halloween.
Oh, that's true. And I showed off my weird stalker skills, and you were like, "Wow."
The title on that one is "Ghosts, Groot Up the Butt, and Ghoulish Jokes." And Groot Up the Butt is a reference to Doug in that episode. So yeah, go listen to that one if you haven't yet.
I'm Groot. I am Groot. So what are we talking about today?
Well, we've got a list of things to talk about.
Sure.
I would like to start with the Karate Kid incident, if I may.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go for it.
All right. So kids are in karate. Okay. And this story, I should preface, this is going to be Tom being a little judgmental. But I just finished playing 3 hours of basketball and on a little bit of an adrenaline rush, and it got my fires back up for a little bit. So you're going to have to deal with judgmental Tom here for a minute. My kids are enrolled in karate here locally, and they've been doing it about 6 months, and we're really enjoying it. And there's a lot of kids their age. So we're talking between like 5 and 10 years old is kind of the range of kids we see in these entry-level courses. My kids just bumped up to the next level. Now they're sparring and doing real self-defense. So I'm hoping that, the age group will be a little bit higher and the skill level will be a little higher. But one of the very last sessions they had before their last belt testing, everyone's out doing their thing, and one kid is not listening to the sensei, just not listening at all. And I'm giving him attitude. And the sensei says, all right, you need to go talk to your mom and get off the mat. Like, until you can be respectful, you can't be out here. You got to go. The sensei handled it really well. And the kid storms off the mat, refuses to bow off the mat. You're supposed to bow when you walk on and bow when you walk off. And he refuses to bow off the mat. And his mom says, come here. And he says, no, and storms away from her to a corner and takes his belt off and slaps his belt down on the ground. And he's a purple belt, so he's probably been doing this for 9 months, maybe 12 months. And mom walks over to him and he says, go away, I'm not talking to you. And she looks up and just doesn't know what to do. Like, the look on her face is just morbid horror. Now, if my kid were to talk to me like that in public, I would also have a look of morbid emotion on my face. But there certainly wouldn't be this element of, oh my gosh, what do I do? I'm powerless. This woman had this powerless look. She didn't know what to do. She told him, okay, we're leaving. He said, no, we're not. I want to get back out there. And the kid's probably 9. And she says, no, we're leaving. And he says, no, we're not. And he takes his belt and whacks her in the legs with it. And she turns around and
Oh,
walks away.
I didn't know this was part of it.
I'm watching this
Uh,
going, you've got to be kidding me. The kid continues to throw a temper tantrum. She tells him to do something and he tells her no. Finally, she says, well, what do you want to do? And that was the moment. What do you want to do? He says, we're leaving. I want to go home. And then she just walked out with him and he led the way. He tried to slam the door on her as they walked out. And she just let all of this happen. And it kind of reminds me of the story I told a couple of weeks ago about the child in the playground that struck my daughter. And then mom said, he's autistic. And then that was that. And she wasn't willing to talk anymore about it or actually parent. And I'm wondering, I've seen even since that night, there was one other kid on the karate floor who similarly ignored the senseis and ignored his father at the end of the night. I gotta say, what I don't understand parents who are afraid of their kids and afraid to parent. And I don't understand parents whose kids are in control of them. Like we're all ruled by our children, right? Like my life is ruled by my children. My schedule rotates around them. What I do is always second to what they need, and they're always the primary focus. So my kids, their life controls my life, but my child does not control me. And I feel like I've seen at least 3 instances since last Wednesday where I saw children under the age of 10 who were in complete control of their parents. And I'm baffled by this.
okay, cool. Next topic.
Great. Awesome. Moving
There you
on.
go. I mean, I sort of feel like being a devil's advocate here on this. I could see it's really hard to be devil's advocate because of how I am in the real world. Like I'm the first one to be like, if I hear even a little tiny talkie backsies to mommy, like dad comes screaming in from stage right and just like snatches up the kid by the arm and goes, "What'd you say to your mother?" Like I'm
Uh-huh.
all like dad voice, like immediate 0 to 60. I don't start out small in those cases,
I'm 100%.
but I'm imagining someone who vowed never to be like their dad or parents or whatever, and they've sort of overcorrected. They felt like they were missing something when they were children, so they're trying to over provide, and they've moved the needle too far where they're trying to not. I don't know. See, this is hard.
Well, I like the route you're taking.
You-
Like you're finding the
like
justification, the one that might make sense here.
usually I'm good at this, especially for trolling purposes, but just when it comes to kids, it's like to me this one's pretty plain. You can definitely be To me, it's way easier to be too harsh on your kids and too overbearing at times because of how high the stakes are with your kids. To me, it's much harder to be what you're talking about. And I've seen it too, where just someone just lets a kid walk all over them. And my only real problem is that I don't want to sort of like, what's the word? Emasculate a parent, a mom or a dad, like in public. But I'd have no problem walking up to a kid if it was otherwise acceptable and being like, you don't talk to your parent that way. And if your
Mhm.
parents are not going to put you in line, I will. But, then I'd probably like get arrested because, then I'm grabbing someone else's kid and telling them to
Eh,
sit down and shut up.
Yeah, and see that's where I don't want to go, and that's my hesitation. I'm a guy who likes to get involved in things. That's why I've got so many interesting stories, right? Because when I see a situation,
Because you're an idiot.
well, I'm an idiot, and that's part of it. But I throw myself into situations, and I'm always trying to help, and I'm always trying to do what I think is the right thing, and usually that means action. Usually that means taking some kind of action. So my struggle in situations like that, especially that night, was to not walk up and grab the kid by the ear and be like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you think you're doing, but this is not okay. Like I had to struggle to sit in my seat, especially when I watched this woman who just looked mortified and just couldn't figure out what to do. Like my first thought was maybe this is an aunt or a young grandma, and she's trying to help out because mom and dad couldn't make it, and doesn't know how to handle this kid because she
Nope.
just doesn't handle him often. But it turns out it was his mom. And one of the other parents there, because it was a night that we don't normally go, and one of the other parents there was like, "Oh, here he goes again." And
Hmm.
it was just, I really wanted to get involved, but I try not to put my hands on other people's kids. I really try to.
That should be the title of the episode. I try not to put my hands on other people's kids.
No, I don't want this to get, censored off of YouTube before it launches. I don't want to be going through the Brad Owens route of getting banned on YouTube because they can't do their math. No, like every part of me wanted to step up and just be like, I don't know what your problem is, kid, but this isn't how you act. But then the rest of me was also going, it's not my place. And that could go sideways for me. And the only person who would lose in that situation would be me and my kids. You know, if I step in and I say something to this kid and then he hits me with his belt, or he goes and kicks me, or he goes to hit me, nothing good comes out of this. Like literally nothing.
Smack.
Right.
Now
So
you're
so
smacking
nothing
the person's kid.
nothing good comes out of that. With the kid whose mom said he was autistic, like I had a moment after I put my hand in his chest and pushed him away from my daughter. I had a moment where I was like, I hope this doesn't escalate any further. And this is after he struck
Right.
my kid. I mean, I was in full blown dad protection mode. So to walk up and do that when the kid's just being a whiny little brat, frankly. And I get your point where maybe someone's just trying really hard not to be their parent, because I heard that a lot from my mom. She didn't want to be, her parents, and that changed some of the way she did things. But at some point, you have to look at your parenting style before you wind up doing an interview with your adultering wife about your weird kids and admitting that radical honesty parenting was a bad choice for you. Before you get to that point, you have to look at it before your kids are grown and done, and you have to say, what I'm doing isn't working. Something here isn't right. And you need to make an adjustment. If you're just trying not to be your parents, but the result you're getting is this kid who is not going to make it in society. One day someone's going to put that kid in his place and it's going to be awful. Then you need to change and you need to fix your style and you need to do something different. And I don't understand why parents can't seem to make that realization that what they're doing isn't working, that they're doing a disservice to their kids and they're not meeting their goal. And then B, take action to fix it. I just don't get it. I'm seeing more and more of it.
Yeah, so rare pop culture reference incoming from Douglas.
Woohoo.
Uh, we saw this kind of thing on screen with Mean Girls. If you've ever seen that movie when what's her face, Amy Poehler, I think, plays the whoever's mom, trying
I
to
haven't
and
seen
she's
Mean Girls, so
even I've seen Mean Girls. It's
yeah.
ridiculous. But
Have you
she's
seen Push
basically
yet?
no, of course not. Don't be ridiculous. Everyone knows Mean Girls, though. People don't know Push. Come on, give me a break.
Okay.
It's not on Netflix, Tom. Otherwise, I would have seen it. I've looked for it 3 separate times. So
It's on
screw you
Amazon
and your.
Prime right now.
Oh, for how much?
No, it's if you have Prime, it's on Prime.
Oh, really? Okay. Because when I last looked, I think it was like $2.99. And let's face it, if it's more than zero, a lot of times I'm not doing it.
No, that and Lucky Number 11 are both on Prime right now.
I freaking love Lucky Number 11.
Mm-hmm.
I freaking love that movie.
Yep,
Go
we've
watch the
talked about
movie
that
if
a
you have
couple
it.
times.
Anyway, yes, I digress. Mean Girls has a mom who's trying to be the friend, the cool hip mom kind of thing, and it works perfectly. Like, oh, that's why this kid's like a fucking bitch, for that purposes. And I think some of that's there. I think I have to wonder if I'm going to call them weak parents. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. These are extremely weak parents, and I don't know if it's that they had overbearing parents and they vowed to never be that, and they sort of overcorrected, and pushed the needle too far the other way. I don't know if they're just, I hate to say it, naturally weak people who, they kind of fall into the category of like really probably shouldn't have had kids because they're not strong enough to do what they need to do. Or it could be some sort of issue between the parents. I happen to think, and again, no, I don't have a study behind this or anything like that, but I happen to think that when mom and dad are not a team, like a real true like united front, at least as far as the kids are concerned, I think that's where you have a lot of problems. And I think because kids are their own people, they react differently. And we focus on bratty kids as being the bratty kids, but I think some kids react the other way. They fall into bad crowds or drugs or other stuff like that, and they never come up as a bratty kid. People just kind of sit there and go, "Oh, what went wrong?" or whatever. it's not a guarantee. I mean, you can have, they're their own people. They can make their own mistakes. And like, I personally know plenty of cases where I know 3 or 4 kids turned out great and the one just, went a ways for a while. But I do think that's part of it. And I wonder if mom and dad are not on the same page, not united, if certain kids just take advantage of that and they know that they can ask a certain parent a certain thing, or they just figure out, because kids figure out real quick how far they can push the envelope and what they can say and can't say.
Mm.
And I mean, just from my own experience, with me and my wife, from the very beginning, like we're pregnant with our first one, not even here yet. We both resolve like we're not going to be this kid's friend, right? Like we're going to be parents. We're absolutely not their friend. 100%. If our kid doesn't despise us every so often, we're not really doing our job correctly. And we've also tried to push not the like wait till your father gets home kind of mentality where, there's not one disciplinarian. We try to both kind of take both sides. But every so often my wife is just like, oh yeah, I totally told her. I was just like, we're going to go home and I'm going to tell daddy what you did. And they're like, no, 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 no. So
Yep.
I'm happy to do that too. I do think I'm fine being 55% disciplinarian to the other 45. So I don't know. I just think that's it. I think kids, when they see parents who have the same goals and the same kind of presence, or the same, front, it's not that they try less. It's just that they know they're not going to get away with stuff, because even if one parent could cave, they know the other parent's going to hear about it later, and they're going to get it later if that other parent doesn't let it slide. I think that's part of this too, is that other parent might never hear about this or might not do anything about this if it comes back to them. And that's the empowering thing for the kid.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay, cool. Next topic.
Cool.
We'll get
Right.
off my judgmental sound mode.
Well,
Did you want to
see,
talk about Andre Roberts a little bit?
we could, we need to come up with a moniker for you though. I have my ivory tower. You have your what? Judgy sailboat.
I don't know where the sailboat comes into play.
I mean, look at you.
I don't get it.
I don't either. I'm just trying to like make something out of nothing.
I don't know. Yeah, something judgmental, because I'm a very judgmental
Yeah.
person.
I'll come up with something. You're not that judgy.
I feel
I
like
don't
I
know.
am.
I'll figure it out. Did you see that Gordon Ramsay thing I sent you with like the Roblox edit or something?
No, I
So,
didn't.
oh my God, you have to watch. I don't know why I just thought of that. Like literally out of nowhere, I was just sitting there thinking about what to call you. Someone did this thing. I'm just quick aside, and then we'll talk about Andre. Andre, someone is doing these like Hell's Kitchen edits, but it's like it puts him in. Is it Roblox? Is that what it's called? I'm so out of touch. I need to be a better.
Probably. I'll have to look at it to.
For someone that wants to know his kid's every thought, I really don't know pop culture very well. It's the thing with all the block figures and all the,
So either
world and stuff
Minecraft
like
or
that.
it sounds like Minecraft actually.
It might be Minecraft, you're right, but they make everything except for him like Minecraft, and they use his lines from the show. They clearly use some AI to bridge some gaps with some dialogue. It's like
Oh, I see it now. Yep.
it's very it's really well done. Like
Yeah, this is Minecraft.
it's almost like movie quality, theater quality, like editing. Like you
Yeah,
could
this is
believe that
fantastic.
someone did like a kid like movie with him in it. Like it's so good. You're just like, what the shit am I watching?
Yeah, they did a great job. This looks like he's really doing a Minecraft
It's
promo or something. This is fantastic.
isn't it? And it just shows him like they actually edited him like picking up the pieces and being like, this is uncovered, and
And the meat that he's picking up is actual
it's
Minecraft meat.
actually,
It's all done in
I
like
know.
8-bit. This is fantastic.
It's really, I don't know who did this, but it's really good.
That is good.
Yeah. They're
Little
doing like whole
Minecraft time.
episodes. They're like 4 and 5 minute episodes, like the whole thing. There's like a whole series. I didn't go down that rabbit hole, but anyway, sorry.
It's all
Let's
right.
talk about Andre. Oh, good times. Do you
You
want
want
to
to take
start?
this one since I've already been on a rant?
Uh, I don't know, I guess. Okay, so for those of you living under rocks who somehow decided that we were your source of out of rock information, which by the way, you need to get out more.
Good poor.
I know, right? There has been a recent, I guess, well, let's just call it a scandal. The superintendent for the Des Moines, Iowa school system got approached by ICE and he booked it, started running,
Yep.
and they chased him down and they caught him. They found a loaded firearm in his car, a couple other things in the car that there's something that he's, not supposed to have.
There's
And
a
people
fixed
are
blade
like,
hunting knife and like $3,000 in
yeah,
cash.
yeah, right, the cash. And then people start going, what's going on? So it turns out he is an illegal immigrant. He he did not even have a work visa. He actually got recommended for deportation last year by the Biden administration. He has a previous weapons charge and just all around shouldn't have been here, shouldn't have been able to get a job, actual past felon. And he obviously knew that he wasn't supposed to be here because when I showed up, he did not be like, "What's up, guys? Can I help you with something?" He just fucking ran. So that's kind of the story, is not just that this guy is out there and you have to wonder who else is potentially doing other stuff out there, but how did this even happen? And I mean, obviously no one did their due diligence, but
So,
how?
yeah. So, a little bit more on him. So, we entered the US in 1999 on a student visa. That's how we got here in the first place. And he was originally an Olympic athlete. He ran like the 800 meter, I think, for Guyana. So he was an Olympian and he came to the US on a student visa and he found he really loved, education. So he got a track working as a teacher and it led him to a principal and then he became involved with administration at a higher level. One of the stories I read about him was him with a bunch of 11-year-old kids. Like he went out and raced with them, this Olympian, this former Olympic athlete, and he let some 11-year-old beat him like at the very end, which was super cool. And the kid was like, I'll remember this forever. I can't believe they've arrested him. He gave me one of the most important memories of my childhood where I got to race against an Olympian and beat an Olympian. And I mean, kid's right. Like that's an amazing memory. Like that's got to be awesome. I can imagine telling that story for the rest of my life if I were to beat an Olympian in a foot race. He apparently had filed an I-9. He did have paperwork in, but this weapons charge, which honestly I think is probably bullshit. Reading up on the weapons charge, he's been a hunter for like 20 years. He's been here forever. And he did a lot of hunting in Pennsylvania. And he was out there on a hunting trip and some park ranger or a sheriff's deputy or somebody, came up on him to check on his paperwork. Well, it's illegal to have a loaded weapon in your vehicle in the state of I'm pretty sure it was Pennsylvania. And so instead of, taking his rifle and unloading it right there in front of the officer, he literally threw his rifle into his car, into the back seat of his car. And the officer ended up writing him up for a weapons charge because he had a loaded weapon in his vehicle. To me, in that case, that the officer probably was, that's one of those situations where I think you take the spirit of the law into consideration. And I don't know why you would write someone up for that. So my guess is there was probably something else. And it was probably not a great encounter for the two of them. But that was the weapons charge. Pretty minor thing. He disclosed it completely to the Des Moines, whatever the district was, or the school board was. He
Yeah,
told them all about the weapons charge. When he first applied for it, they were aware of it. He explained it. They didn't think it was a big issue. So they hired him. He became a superintendent in like 2023. And then it turns out that whatever the paperwork he submitted to be here, well, it didn't get approved. Because of the weapons charge, probably, but maybe for other reasons, his paperwork was not approved. And they actually issued an order of removal in 2024, which means you're supposed to deport him. That's what an order of removal is. This person was here at one point legally, but they are no longer allowed to be here. So go get them, arrest them, and deport them. And that was what happened. He had been here for over a year after the order of removal had been issued, working as someone who had a lot of community influence and was a public face. It sounded like he was a good, outstanding guy. I mean, it really does sound like he did a lot for the community and was a good guy, but he was here illegally. And a lot of people are saying he didn't know he was here illegally. I don't know how that's possible. I feel like that's kind of sticking your head in the sand. I don't know because I've never lived it. But I would imagine that if you're seeking paperwork to stay here as an immigrant or an alien, I would imagine you stay on top of that paperwork.
at some
And
point you should be like, hey guys,
yeah,
where's my paperwork,
where's
or
my
what's
I-9 or
going
my
on with
green
this?
card or,
Right.
right, give me something. And yeah, and so they showed up to get him, and he ran in a school vehicle. Like it wasn't even his personal vehicle; it was a school vehicle he took off
Yeah,
with.
it was an instant like I gotta get the hell out of
Yep.
Dodge.
And he left it. He left it in the woods, and he had a loaded handgun on him, and the fixed blade hunting knife, and like 3,000 cash. And honestly, the cash means nothing. But the
Yeah, I don't
handgun
know.
is odd
They just tell
because
that because it hypes it up. Like, oh, who carries
yeah,
that much cash? Actually, a lot of
a lot of people do.
people.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I was gonna say that's not. The cash was like what?
yeah.
But anyway, no.
But then like the firearm is a big deal because if you're not an American citizen and you have a weapons charge against you, you cannot have a firearm. You're not allowed to carry one. So that's interesting. So now, they're hitting up, what's the hiring process in this school? Are we doing verification? Are we doing background checks? How do we do all this stuff? There was clearly a failure in the system here. And now that he's been arrested, the community's like, this is unfair, bring him back. And they're having protests. At the end of the day, he's here illegally. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it.
Oh, also, he was registered to vote in Maryland, and at least the last part I saw was they could not prove he ever lived in Maryland.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
I missed that.
yeah, yeah, he's registered to vote in a state that he's not only not a resident of, but I think maybe never was officially. So that's good.
Wait, are you
By the
telling me that our voting system isn't foolproof, isn't
I
locktight,
know
isn't
I'm so glad we're sitting down. I'm as shocked as you are.
man,
It's definitely not happening on both sides. If it
right?
even is happening at all,
Right.
you could not Google and
Yeah.
find instances of voter fraud
Oh,
in
I'm sure
multiple
only one
counties
side would
and
do this sort of
municipalities.
thing. Yeah.
Well,
Because one
and
side is the good side and one side is the bad side, right?
right, yeah.
Right. See, yeah.
It's all one side was the uniparty.
It's the them
No.
side and the us side is what it really is, and no one seems to realize that.
Right. More on the quick on the weapons charge, by the way.
Yep.
This article that I found said he was cited on a gun charge in November 2021 in
Yep.
Erie, Pennsylvania, where he was superintendent of the Mill Creek Township School District. So he was not just some person there. He was a person of
Oh yeah.
authority, should have been aware of at least certain
Yep.
legal comings and goings, and he still did this. And this is the warden says that he placed the rifle in the backseat of his vehicle and then the warden inspected the rifle. So here's my thing with it. I realize that this may be come across based on the interaction as sort of ticky tack, but we don't know what the interaction was. The warden could have been just like picking people like out on that day to just check and just kind of do a letter of the law thing just to make sure stuff's actually being followed. And he could have told the warden like, come on, man, whatever, and just threw his rifle in the back. And the warden didn't like his attitude. We have no idea. The warden's not gonna, if he's doing his job correctly as an officer, he's not gonna be like, he's not gonna write in the recitation like, oh, he was being a little bitch to me, so I decided to get him. Like, you're gonna try to stick to the facts of the case, kind of thing, But from another sense, I mean, how many people in the proverbial gun community talk about you have to know the regulations. You have to
Yeah.
know what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do. And especially with a vehicle, I mean, for most states, a rifle or a firearm in a vehicle counts as concealed carry. So you have to have ammo loaded versus unloaded. You're allowed to have it in the fire. I think in Ohio, because I have the concealed carry for Ohio, I think you have to have the ammo and the firearm in separate areas, separate containers
With a permit, you have to have it
in
separate.
in your car if you don't have a permit.
Oh yes, that's
If
same.
you have the concealed carry permit, then you're allowed to have it loaded or at least carry in the same container.
Yep.
But so if you're running around with a firearm, the natural thing to do is to understand what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do. And so, yes, it could be ticky tack from the warden, but also this is ticky tack from him. This is him thinking he should know the rule. And if he did know it, he decided, nah, I don't need to follow that rule.
Well,
Do
I
you
think
really
this
want
is,
that attitude around firearms?
but I think
Especially,
this is that spirit of the law kind of debate here, where if he's got the rifle and the warden shows up, whenever someone's trying to make me as an officer feel safe and try to remove those things that make the situation hairy, I always appreciated it. So when someone says, I've got a firearm on my hip and they hold their hands up and they show me, and like, if you want to take that off now before we talk, feel free. I always appreciated that. So if this was a situation where the warden showed up and the guy had a loaded rifle in his hands and he was like, I don't want you to worry about a loaded gun in my hands. Let me just throw this in the back of my truck so I'm not like, if that's what happened, that's
well,
kind of what I thought
if
did.
that's the case, maybe, yeah, but also just put it on the ground too. I mean, this sounded, I mean, again,
Maybe, yeah.
I've read a different account. This sounds more like the warden saw him put it in his car and now he was like, he looks like he's just
Sure.
leaving with it that way.
Again,
But
it's a lot of context here we don't have. Like we
well,
don't
right,
know. But
exactly.
in any
But
case, this isn't a huge weapons charge. Like people are saying it was a
no,
weapons charge. It's not like he was smuggling
it's not
firearms
like
or
yeah, he
selling
didn't
them to
like
gang
pistol whip
leaders.
somebody or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not an
he's
assault
just
charge. I feel like that was played up a good bit for this. But
yeah,
honestly,
it
it was
was.
probably part of the reason that his removal order was issued, is my guess.
Yeah. Well, and same thing as you. I've never been on the other side of it, but I just maybe some of it is America with being a little bit more lax and honestly catering to immigration stuff. But I do feel like if I was in another country, I would just be very much like I'm allowed to be here, right, guys? And I could make up a scenario where Trump comes in, ICE starts ramping stuff up, and he maybe had been kind of tossing around the idea of maybe I should tell them that, hey guys, I actually want to do this right, and then he didn't want to bring it up anymore. But I just don't know. This just seems like something that if the Biden administration was already recommending it for deportation last year, then you've definitely missed a checkpoint or two, on your end, and this should be important to you because, as far as I'm concerned, you're a guest and you need to act appropriately. And I think we've kind of lost some of that attitude of, people like to say, would you accept an illegal immigrant under your own roof? And of course, most people say no, but it's kind of a not in my backyard kind of setup. I think we need to go even further and say, no, you're a guest here and you need to act accordingly. Otherwise, we reserve the right to kick you out because it is our house.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think a lot of people don't feel that way. And it's one of those things, kind of like the parent we were talking about earlier. I, I really struggle to understand how you can look at it and not see it that way.
I mean, like pick a country, Tom, and I go there. Me, my big old,
Germany.
6 foot. Oh,
Go to
well, okay,
Germany.
I'd fit in sort of pink shirt and everything.
Well, I
But,
picked
but,
Germany because I've seen what the police do to people there. And if you step one step out of line, they beat the crap out of you with these big rubber batons and they don't care and they get away with
nice.
it.
Well, but that's the thing. Like if I went to another country and I just, kind of knew, I haven't actually done everything that I need to do to be okay here. Like in my mind, I would sort of expect that if someone found out I might get a not so happy visit from authorities, I would sort of assume that. Like I don't know what would cause me. I mean, it would have to be years and years and years of not doing everything completely right and having no consequence for it would get me to this point, I would think. And that's kind of the problem here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of these stories coming up because clearly stuff was not being enforced the way it was. This guy was not exactly, hiding out in a back kitchen or a mailroom somewhere and working. He's like a freaking superintendent. He's a public figure. He's someone that
He's
gets
an
selected
Olympian.
and elected. Well, yeah,
He's
he's
not hard to
just
find. You got a warrant out for this
right,
guy's name and date of birth. He's not hard to
right.
find. You Google him and every position he's ever held pops right up. So
And he's been a superintendent of multiple school districts. Like this wasn't even like his first
yeah,
go of it. This is a guy who's definitely a career superintendent.
yeah. It's
Basically, it's just
it's a
multiple
shame that
people
It's a shame
had
that
to
he
have
seems like
checked
such a
him.
nice guy and a good community figure. Because honestly, when I read this, I want to root against him, and I want him to be some cartel member who's here, like selling drugs and running weapons across the borders with school buses that never get
Yeah,
searched.
well, and the Godfather valued family too, Tom.
I know, he was an honorable man. Yeah, I really want him to be a bad guy, and I'm reading all the other stuff and all the the human pieces on him, and I'm like, he's a good guy.
It's almost
It's a
never that
shame he's
way,
a good
though.
guy. Yeah.
People are complex. It's almost never a straight like good guy, bad guy kind of thing. But still, I mean, this guy, for being an apparently otherwise good guy, he had a couple of major misses that
Yeah.
you know didn't get. I mean, once he actually got a hard look, we start finding all these little things, and you know what? It turns out he did not have everything
Yep.
crossed and dotted, and just purely from a sort of visceral father standpoint with kids in school now, if I heard our current superintendent, U.S. citizen and all, had some of these things that are kind of loose ends, I'd be like, excuse me, I'm not happy with this. I don't want this person heading up things. I just heard about an issue with our current, school board, basically, where they reviewed curricula and approved certain ones. And one parent found a book in that curricula that was approved that was really not a good thing. And the only reason she found it was because her kid was reading the book and was like, yeah, I'm not comfortable with this. and it ended up getting removed from the entire like
Yeah.
thing for the whole grade. And that was probably just an oversight because they didn't review everything. But if I had a superintendent that where we had a literal background oversight, I'm not happy with that. I start to question everything.
Yeah.
Not even talking about immigration here, just in general. Like, take out the illegal immigrant thing from this guy. This should still be a scandal with weapons charges and what's it called? Resisting arrest or fleeing police or whatever, and the previous, the voting record stuff and all that. Like that alone should be enough to get someone ousted. Not even just the should they have even been here argument, which is like the icing on the proverbial cake for some people.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the way ICE is doing a lot of these deportations, even though I do agree they have to happen. Like there's a lot that I don't like the way they're doing it, but in this case, it seems like this guy had all the leash in the world and that they did everything right, and then he ran, and it seems pretty cut and dry to me. It's a shame that he seems like a nice guy, but at the end of the day, we're responsible for our actions, and there are consequences for our actions. And he didn't do what he needed to do to get status here, so he needs to go. And I really feel like it's that simple. I'm curious to see where these protests will go. Yeah, I've set it up as one of my Google searches, my automatic Google searches now, just to see how it develops as we go. I'm curious.
Yeah. And the other little wrinkle too here, if you really want to be a conspiracy theorist, and for the record, I've made a point to not bring this up until now when we're sort of finishing up this discussion. But one of the school board members who approved him was like an Obama like chief of staff or something like that
Oh, I
for
didn't
like
see that.
Michelle Obama or whatever. I can try to
Oh,
pull it up, but it was just one of them.
interesting.
One of the like eight or nine. So I don't know if that actually has anything to do with anything or if it just happens to be like, one of those links. I'm
Coincidence,
sure,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure you could probably go, how many school boards are there in America? ChatGPT, thousands
Yep,
probably. So, search through all the thousands of school boards. You can probably find a connection to a senator
yep.
or a past president or a congressperson or whatever on 20% of those. I imagine it'd be pretty easy to be like, I helped the US senator, and they'd be like, well, you're hired because
There you go.
you
Yep,
know things politically in school boards politics. Like I
yep.
feel like that just happens to be a pretty big link that happened to be here. I feel like that's more circumstantial than not. But there you go. Every fact.
Where are we going after this? Are we going to call this early and make it a nice, short, sweet episode, or do we want to jump down some other rabbit holes?
Oh God, no. You think I want to do this shortly? I'm
The
actually
top.
fine with doing it. I don't know what else are we gonna talk about. We could talk about the ice shooting. The speaking of ice,
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. You know what though? Here's the thing. I am so not well versed to talk about this. I I'm ready to believe that the guy actually wanted to shoot the detainees because it's just
Yeah, that's the debate right now because he wrote anti-ice on some of the bullet shells. He's trying to
well,
copy the Charlie Kirk shooter. A lot of people are going, yeah, that just none of this makes sense, and he's
it
probably doing it
doesn't.
ironically, and
I
it's
just
coming
I
down to
don't.
weird finger pointing again.
But and so and again, I need to give it the extra couple of hours and research it, but it looked like the anti-ice stuff was written with a Sharpie on the bullets, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I guess if I okay, let's take two steps back here real quick. So, there was an attack on ICE agents.
Yeah. Let's start this over
Let's
again.
yeah, let me find it real quick.
So in Dallas, there were a bunch of ICE
Yeah.
agents who had detainees in their custody, and someone on a rooftop opened fire with a rifle very similar to that of the Charlie Kirk shooter. It was an old German, I think it was an old German rifle. Maybe it was Russian, but I think it was an old German bolt action rifle firing like strip belt ammunition. And he fired, I don't know how many shots he fired, but he injured three people or killed three people and
So,
instead of ICE agents.
no, so he shot three detainees.
Yep.
One of them died. The other two injured, and then he self-inflicted gunshot wound and
Yeah.
offed himself. No law enforcement were injured. So that's the story. But the picture that's been floating around is this it's the, clip of like five of these bullets and the fourth one says anti-ice in like blue Sharpie on it in the
I actually thought
rain.
it was like chalk the first time I saw it. It was
Oh yeah.
weird.
Actually, I got this article has a really good photo of it. It almost looks like pen. It's probably Sharpie, I guess.
In any
The
case, he
article's
didn't put a lot of effort into it, right? Like that's
no. I mean, like it's clearly legible, which is kind of ironic.
yeah.
I don't know. I This one's challenging me, Thomas, because it's too on the nose. And I mean, I'm willing to believe that some deranged person wanted to kill some ICE agents and happened to hit some detainees too, because probably without even thinking about their own protection, usually where do you walk detainees? In front of you,
Yeah.
or at least partially shading you. Like it makes more sense that they would be more likely to be hit from indiscriminate or semi-aimed firing, especially from someone inexperienced. Firing starts happening, people start ducking. An ICE agent's going to be more likely to move and cover quickly, just even from some muscle memory from academy training, whatever. I can make up all sorts of reasons why the results were where they were, but this whole like, oh look, we found some bullets, and this one like perfectly framed piece on the ground with anti-ice written and it's facing up towards the camera, like it's not even like curved to the side or what. It's just and Cash Patel's tweeting it out like, before the body's even cold. It's just it feels if it's actually true, it's exceedingly sloppy work by Patel for starters.
I
This
think
should
that's
not
what
be
I've come to
something.
expect from him at this point, though, to
Well,
be honest.
yes, to be fair, yes, but I mean, like, this is the kind of thing where I just have that flash thought of, you know what? I know jack shit about managing law enforcement. I could do a better, at least media job than Cash Patel. I would not tweet this out. I would have whoever's ass for tweeting this out if it's not like a scummy media person. This is the kind of thing that you really need to be sure of before you tout it out there as evidence standpoint. That's pure that has political written all over it, both sides. And
Yeah.
it's too on the nose for me. Something doesn't smell right with this at all.
And to devil's advocate a little bit, what I would warrant might have happened here is that Trump's got a lot of stuff going on right now in the courtroom that he doesn't want people paying attention to. Like there's a lot going on right
Well,
now that he's happy for people not to be looking at. So I wonder if maybe this is one of those false flags we talk about where they want eyes on this. And Kash Patel might have been told, you will put this out there and you will do all you can to accelerate this and inflame this. I want all the pictures out there. I want you to put it out there. And I mean, he's in Trump's pocket, and we know he's in Trump's pocket. So
yeah.
if Trump himself, this sounds like the kind of thing Trump would do, right? The
Oh yeah,
slapdash,
sure.
hasty
Put
way
it
this
out
was
there.
done.
If you don't put it out there, I will, and I'll tag
Right.
you. Yeah.
And so I can very, very easily see him having external pressure to do this and it not really being his choice and it going that road. I wouldn't be surprised if 4 years from now we learn that's how this went down.
Can I ask a stupid question? So
Absolutely. I do it all the
the
time.
F, no, not all the time. I hand pick my times, sir.
I said I
The,
do it all the time.
oh, well, yeah, of course you do. You also hand pick your times. The FBI director is beholden to the president because the president has the ability to appoint and fire. Yes or no? I can't remember.
Well, the president has the ability to fire. To hire, you need congressional approval and blah blah blah. But it's
Right.
still the president's nominees. So
Right.
yes, I think he's still beholden
So,
to the president generally.
okay. And that's I wanted to make sure I wasn't
And I
just,
might be wrong, but I
you
think
know,
that's how it works. Yeah.
yeah. So that's so fair point. I didn't know if you had that one locked down kind of thing. I mean, we know Kash Patel, has been sitting on a Trump coattail every so often, here and there, but I don't know. I just can't shake this one. Like, again, if I'm anti-ice, which is just so like, that's like the kind of shit I would say on this podcast. Ooh, I'm anti-ice. Darn those persnickety folks. Like it just, if I branded some bullets that I intended for certain people, it wouldn't say anti whatever.
It'd be
It
something a
would,
little bit
it,
more clever, right?
it would, well, or just more crass,
There you go.
you know,
And it
fuck
wouldn't be
ice,
scribbled in cheap pen.
or it would just be like, it would be images or I don't know, like I would find names of people and write them on each bullet if I wanted to be symbolic. Like one, this bullet's for you, this bullet's for you. Like I would be much more theatrical about it. And again, maybe that's me being too rational or thinking things through too much. It just anti-ice just seems so. I don't know. It just seems so PG
Yeah.
for someone who is willing to literally just kind of open fire on a general area.
And one of the things that you should never laugh in a situation like this because it's a horrible thing. And I'm really friggin' sick of people just deciding to shoot people up the last 2 weeks. They
But
have, but yeah, like driving into a church and shooting people and letting it on fire, and you're shooting
it,
people
yeah.
as an anti-ice demonstration, but you're not hitting the ice, agents. And like I'm just sick of everyone just deciding that the way to deal with all this is just to open fire. But the one thing that did make me laugh a little bit, despite as how awful this is, and this makes me sound like a bad person that I was laughing at this. I get it. One of his friends was interviewed, and his friend was like, "Yeah, this doesn't sound like Josh. Not because I don't believe he would do this. He hated ice, but the guy was not a good shot, and there's no way he could show up from a rooftop and do this and actually shoot ice agents. Like it wouldn't work. He would. And all I could think was, well, no, he missed.
Well, that's the
All he
point.
shot were detainees. He didn't hit a single ice agent. What you're doing is making the case,
I
man.
was gonna say.
But that one kind of killed me a little bit when I heard it.
Like, oh yeah, no, come. I mean, I don't know. And again, this is full disclosure. This is not me saying I have plans to do anything, but if I was gonna do anything like this, it would just I don't know. I would just be so much more prepared. If I really wanted to do anything that was theatrical, it would not be this rushed bullshit at the end on an unused clip. I would make sure anything that I wrote on was shoved into the gun first time just to make it for my own symbolism. I don't
Yeah.
know, like if I really believe in what I'm doing, I want to brand a literal bullet. That's not getting left unused at the scene before I off myself. Are you fucking kidding me?
Mm.
It just doesn't, something about this just doesn't feel right. I would be more than if someone was just like, "Oh hey, turns out this caliber of bullet didn't actually work for that gun." And so we don't know where it came from. I'd be like, "Yep, that makes sense to me."
That tracks. Yep.
Someone wrote these, and it probably wasn't even pull the metadata from the photo and see if he was taken in Dallas. Like, is it even taken in Dallas? Honestly,
Turns out this 8 millimeter caliber bullet was the exact same one that should have been used in the rifle that the golf course assassination attempt took place. Strange. It was supposed to go on that gun.
like the other bullet said anti-JFK. Oh shit, we're using the same magazine. God damn it! Like what?
Property
Like,
of CIA.
yeah, patent pending. Like, just I don't know. It just
Yeah, this one struck me as odd too, and it almost just seems too on the nose and too lazy, right?
yeah,
Like those are the two things that pop up in my head.
I have, and this is one of the things that this administration, well, the last administration too, but one of the things that the U.S. government in general has been challenging me on the last couple of years is the same line from Shooter, the movie with Mark Wahlberg,
Yep.
where the guy says nothing, no matter how terrible, ever really happens without the approval of the government. And it's just
Yeah.
even the Charlie Kirk shooting just had it had these vibes of maybe of someone, if they were actually paying attention the way we're supposed to from all the Bush era 9/11 regulations, someone should have seen this and reacted even on Charlie's own team. I'm not sure how it would not surprise me, and maybe I'm just turning into a conspiracy theorist. It would not surprise me if people knew and at least sort of let it happen slash didn't harshly stop it. Just because they knew what it might do with galvanizing X, Y, or Z. And this ice shooting in Dallas has a lot of that for me too. It just seems it's like the Trump shooting in Butler, Pennsylvania, or whatever it was
Mhm.
with that kid. It's like the Las Vegas shooting. It just these things felt like they went away a little bit. Like I know people have been pulling the research and getting more on those, and you can actually go find it if you want, but just from a mainstream thing, there's obviously somebody somewhere telling somebody that you don't need to talk about this anymore, at least on the main lines.
Yeah.
On a lot of these things. They're reported, they have the effect they're supposed to have, and then we move on. And it's something just doesn't feel right about a lot of this. It feels like a lot of this is at least permitted, even if it's not actively done by the government, because they know they'll be able to use it for somebody's motivation somewhere. That really bothers me.
Yeah.
They'll probably trot out aliens again in like another week or two just to keep distracting us.
Yeah. Probably. But that's cool. I'm way past due for some good alien content.
I don't
So
know.
that's fun.
I'm like 3 weeks away from being like, yeah, please conquer us. Just get it over with.
Yeah,
Like
it'd
I'm
probably be
tired.
an improvement.
Yeah.
All right, should we
It's
get into updates
was
and then dad
the
jokes?
sure. Is it Futurama where he's just like, I for one welcome our new alien overlords or whatever like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, let's do that.
All right,
Do you have any
updates.
updates?
I have a Bonnie Blue update. You're welcome, John.
Damn it, John. This is all your fault.
Her Bang Bus tour is continuing. It's still doing its thing. It's still getting a lot of public media and attention. There's been further confrontation with people. Apparently, she's still all in on my favorite people to sleep with are married men and 17-year-old boys. So she's still going that route and still making moms angry and wives angry. But it turns out that her estranged husband and his mother have recently gotten involved here. Turns out Bonnie Blue recently was divorced. She says that, she and her husband just grew apart over time.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
That's easy to do when you've got like 10 inches of other guy coming in between you over and over and over again. You tend to grow apart, right? Like that creates distance. But they're splitting up. Bonnie Blue still says that, he still helps behind the scenes. He's still involved. So apparently he's still supporting her. He says that he was instrumental to her getting the start that she had. She couldn't have done it without him. Played a pivotal role in this success. And now he is suing her for a share of her, are you ready? $45 million porn empire.
I love the word empire.
$45 million.
Like she's ruling something. Empire. Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. But his mom's getting involved in doing press interviews, and it's the whole thing is kind of epic. But yeah,
I mean,
he wants a piece, and not in the way that you'd normally think when you're talking about.
how did he help her get the start? Like he was in 8 of her first 10 videos
That's my
because
guess.
of who he is. Like
my guess is that they were married when it started, and he was providing that perspective in each video. And then, as these things go, she wanted to try some other co-stars, and that creates some separation and some distance in your relationship. So,
oh, the irony.
If I had to guess, I would guess that's how that happened. And now he wants his piece of the pie, if you will.
Yeah, we more recently the whole Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips thing has hit me with the parenting side, because I saw something, there was some rumor that Lily Phillips' dad disowned her, and now it turns out, okay, that actually wasn't true. He didn't officially disown her, but her parents seem to be pretty consistently like, no, we don't approve of this. We really wish our daughter wouldn't be doing this.
Oh, her
kind
mom
of
is like
people when it
heavily
comes
involved, though. Her
Isn't it?
mom, her mom runs the business side of it. Yeah.
Wasn't it her dad? Well, maybe it was her dad saying he doesn't like it, right? I don't know.
I don't
like,
remember. Yeah.
I do not research this very, very deeply for, I feel like, obvious reasons, because I just don't. I'm not emotionally invested in it to begin with in any way.
At this point, I'm just doing it for John.
I know. That's like worst case scenario as a parent, right? Like you can't support that, but you want to still be there if/when your kid completely emotionally destroys themselves.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be like to watch that. It's the almost cliche reference of dads watching their girls like trying to keep their daughter off the stripper pole, right? Like that's almost a cliche,
right? Well, and if your daughter does this and posts, like a video, do you not watch it?
I think
do you watch it
it
just because? Well,
there was an Australian OnlyFans girl whose stepfather found her account and started he was like her biggest donor, and she didn't know it was him for a while. But like her stepdad found her account
No, it's a stepdad.
was paying her for. It's not the same, but it's still gross and still creepy.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay. Stepdad just means married her mom. He can be a skis ball either way. Like skis balls are married to other people.
Sure, but he was a skis ball that was paying her large sums of money on OnlyFans for her to make private videos to his fetishes. Like
Yeah.
that's a different level of creepy and scummy and ick, right?
Yes, but I feel like you're opening yourself up to that kind of thing
I agree. No,
when you
I
when you
agree.
do things like this.
Yep. I think if you create this OnlyFans profile and you're getting into that industry, you are waiving all right to privacy and clearly you're everyone gets to see it publicly. I would be mortified if I were to watch my children do this. Like if that were to happen,
And if you
I would feel like a
disown
failure.
them, it helps their empire, right? Because now it's more clickbait and
Yeah.
is kind of like broadcasting to the world of skis balls that now dad slash parents are not ever going to be protecting her, maybe
Yeah.
because they disowned her.
Yeah.
Like it's an impossible situation. You can't be supportive, but you can't be 100% unsupportive because that actually maybe opens them up to a tad bit more
Yeah. It's a hard
danger
line to walk.
somehow. It
Yeah. I really, it's one of
and
those things that I just hope I never have to deal with.
yeah, and if they're a legal adult, then you can't like you can't kidnap your own kid and put them in the basement. Like you can't even restrict them publicly.
There's a YouTube short that's going viral that I friggin' love, and it's a woman doing a reaction video to this other woman, and the other woman is talking about her body count, and she's like, my body count is about 500. I'm a little over 500, and it made me stop and wonder, like, what's the average woman's body count? Is 500 high? Is 500 a lot? Is that too many? And then the other girl comes in and says, yeah, my body count is not 500 because of something that my dad used to say to me a lot when I was a kid. He had this phrase, this saying, and it was something like, I love you. And
Okay.
I was like, that's brilliant. Like, that's
Uh,
really well done. And it makes me think of the Philadelphia story that I told those girls on the bus, where I'm like, I feel like your dad just didn't make you feel loved enough if this is the path you have to go down. Again, judgy Tom, but
oh,
it's just like,
I read a serious article about that basically said if fathers don't love their daughters enough, they will look for a man's affection elsewhere.
sure.
Men need women's affection, which is why loser skis ball men end up at strip clubs and on OnlyFans and stuff like that because they're looking for female attention.
Yeah.
Women look for male attention, and if they don't get if their baseline is not a strong fatherly figure, then they'll look for any male attention, and obviously most people go for the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
And like this was a serious breakdown. I was like, holy shit, this actually makes sense now. This is why all the jokes about I love you are actually real because women
Yeah.
just need it the same way men need it.
Yep. So love your kids. That's going to be your dad homework this weekend is love your kids and make sure they know it. And do it in a legal way, please. I'm not endorsing any of you creepos to, take that the wrong way. I did put some images. I cut some images of Bonnie Blue from the news feed and put them in chat for you. Somehow she looks like she's older now. Like
Oh no,
these aren't
hey,
even newer images, but she just looks older still.
I deserve credit for looking at these while talking, seeing them, wondering why you sent them to me, and also not breaking my
You did,
sentence
yeah.
at all.
You stayed in stride and it was great. I can't get over the fact that she does
She
not
just
look
doesn't look.
26. She doesn't even look 36 in some of these, like this woman.
Can I have like a really weird, just straight up weird guy moment?
Yeah.
Like, she's not that attractive
No,
to
she's not.
me.
No.
She's not like, I mean, she gets her, I mean, I'm not sitting here saying she's like fugly or anything like that, but she does not strike me as someone who should have this much value. Like, she obviously gets it just from her willingness to do any, it's great marketing is
Yeah.
probably the way it is. But I mean, like, just being on the internet in any way, shape, or form, even I'm aware of like what's her face? The Sophie Rain chick who like made the most on OnlyFans or something that like last year or something.
Oh.
She's some like 19 or 20-year-old. The last I saw her, there's a picture of her with Shaquille O'Neal.
Holy shit.
But it was like, yeah, some birthday thing. But anyway, the point was she actually was like the highest earner on OnlyFans or something like that. And I saw a headline about it. And I could at least understand that. Like she looks like just a physically attractive person. Like
Yeah.
whereas this Bonnie Blue chick just looks like I don't know, like a 7 out of 10 kind of thing. Like she just I don't get it, I guess, from a purely if I'm trying to dig into my old teenager, purely carnal thing, I can walk past 5 women today that are more attractive than Bonnie Blue
Yeah.
at any point, I feel like. So I don't get it.
Yeah,
That's why I don't understand it.
I look back to my time in Savannah, which was kind of like the peak of the testosterone Tom era. And
Ooh, pasta.
yeah, there you go. It's the San Francisco treat. I look back to the
Sounds gross.
it does. I look back to Savannah Tom when I my goal when I went out was to meet women and was to find a girl and go home with a girl. And I look at pictures of her, and were I out in a random bar or club in Savannah, or I was on the college campus there, like if I were out looking for women, she would not be in my first like 3 or 4 picks, like in any venue that I was ever looking for women. Just she's not unattractive, but she's not that hot. And man, she looks worn out. Like I don't know
Yeah.
how else to describe this woman. She looks
That's actually
prematurely
that's a
aged and
good
worn out.
metric. I went to some really hole in the wall places, and there are some places where she might on a weekday night be the most attractive person in there. But it's a stretch. Yeah, like if you
Oh, it's
waited long
stretched
enough
all
in
right.
a if you waited long enough in a regularly, not dive bar kind of thing, there would absolutely be 2 or 3 women who would walk through who I would think would be more attractive than she
Right.
is, just on a pure like
Yeah.
facial looks, whatever perspective.
Yep. I agree. All right.
Anyway,
Sorry, John. You got your update, but now we're gonna get off Bonnie Blue. We're probably the only 2 people who've ever done that.
we're gonna get hate mail
Um,
from John, be like, "Stop insulting my lady."
he's gonna ask us to set up a meetup. Hey, do you guys think you could set up a meetup? Can we get the Bang Bus over here in the States?
I mean, if I'm being purely selfish, an endorsement from Bonnie Blue would definitely get us on the map.
Can I go with some Lily Phillips instead? Because I feel
Probably
like
not.
she's far more attractive. And if you didn't know what she was doing, Lily Phillips looks like that girl next door a little bit. Like, she's got that look.
Yeah, yeah, I guess you're right. I can
Bonnie
see that.
Blue
It's the
looks
same,
like the dirty
but
friend's mom who's got
same
cigarette
thing.
breath and is making inappropriate comments to every member of the high school football team when they come over
That's
for bananas.
oddly specific,
Yeah.
but the very last part about comments of the football team really is actually kind of on point. I'm kind of digging that one.
Yeah, I can picture the guys going over to their buddy's house after practice to, raid his fridge and drink his Gatorade. And then she comes out like, wearing something way too revealing, and she's bending over in front of people and she's making comments, and she's that inappropriate. Yeah, I can see that with Bonnie Blue.
Yeah, good, great.
Probably got some videos where that's exactly what happened.
Let's move on. Jesus,
Dad jokes.
dad jokes. What did Simba say to the bus driver? What did Simba say to the slow bus driver without stuttering?
Uh,
Always giving you an easy one, not that deep. Warming you up. Just like Lily
yeah,
Phillips.
I don't know. Go for it.
Mufasa.
That's good. That's cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to tell an illegal immigration joke, but I thought it might be borderline offensive, so I decided not to.
It wouldn't register. I told my wife that she should embrace her mistakes. She gave me a big hug.
Oops, say it again. Sorry, you cut out.
What?
You told your wife, and then I had like a glitch.
Oh,
My
really?
audio didn't work yet.
I told my wife that she should embrace her mistakes, and then she gave me a big hug.
Cute.
That's
All
not
right.
even a joke. I tell my wife that all the time. I'm like, you still don't understand if you did you?
A Republican walks into a bookstore
Well, that's already false.
and he asks the proprietor, "Hey, do you have Trump's new book on illegal immigration?" And the owner says, "Get the fuck out of my bookstore." So the
Yes, that's the
Republican,
one.
yeah, the Republican turns around and says, "Yep, that's the one." Good.
Nice.
Uh,
Okay. All right. And I'm trying to be better. I brought a truly offensive joke. Are you ready for it? I don't
yes.
think you'll get it because it's kind of odd, but it's just too good. I couldn't help myself. How do Chinese people name their kids? I really wish you guys could see Tom's face right now.
I want to
I
get
usually
this
don't.
one so
I
hard. I'm just
usually don't
so
get this
tired
face
right
from him.
now. How do Chinese parents name their kids?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They throw pots and pans down the stairs.
I saw a YouTube video where someone did that. Yes. That was a great little short. It was funny. It was an Asian guy, and he literally just dropped pots and pans. He goes, bing, ding, 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 ding. Sounds good.
Ching chong tang.
Uh,
It's so messed up.
all right. A German visits France. And he gets stopped at immigration, and the French immigration officer says, business or pleasure? And the German replies, pleasure. And the agent asks, occupation? The German says, nine, just visiting.
Yeah, I did that already.
All right, I've got one more that is not.
Honestly, I don't have any more. I just came with 3. I'm done.
I've got one more.
Leave me
This is
alone.
one you're gonna like. This actually came from Ma Dukes. So my mom has taken to sending me jokes like via text,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
and I know the answers to way too many of them, and it frustrates her. So she's always looking for one I can't get. When she asks
Good.
me what I don't know, she gets so happy. It's kind of silly. So now I'm kind of every once in a while I just pretend I don't know one to make her happy and give her a moment.
Oh,
But a
so
lot
you're
of
a
the jokes,
filthy liar.
yes,
Okay, good.
absolutely.
Great.
But a lot of the jokes she sends me are actually jokes we tell on the podcast. And I'm like, well, I know you're not listening to the podcast now because you'd know I know that one. Told that one. Sorry, told that one. But she gave me a good one the other day and she was proud of it. And I did not know the answer. And I think you'll get there if you think about it. I think you can do
Okay.
better than I did. How
Interesting. This is a really weird.
how does a polygamous hippie count his wives?
A polygamist hippie count his wives. How does a polygamist hippie count his wives? I don't know. He takes a Woodstock. He drums the circle. He smokes them out. Oh,
I thought you were going to get this one.
a polygamist hippie. How does he count his wives?
You're going to like this one. This is a very Doug joke.
Is it some like
Doug is full on chewing his thumb.
I am? I've gotten
Concentration.
all the way to like, where's my car? Like, dude, sweet tattoos. Like, I'm trying to think of any like pothead phrase that would somehow do this. There's no Cheech or Chong thing going on here, is there?
Nope.
Oh, because, because he married only Juana or something. I'm
No.
trying to get to marijuana. Okay, fine. Tell me, Jesus.
1 Mrs. Hippie, 2 Mrs. Hippie,
Oh,
3 Mrs. Hippie.
Jesus. Ah, that's good. I actually really love that one.
Yeah, I thought that was a
I
good Doug
really
joke.
love that. It is.
And I do have one more immigration one that I forgot to tell. I got it in my notes here.
Okay. This one didn't register either.
Well, it's pretty inappropriate, so you know.
I love inappropriate. I have problems.
Did you read about the poll taken in California asking if the people thought that illegal immigration was a problem? Did you see that at all?
You said Pole, and I was like, Polish.
We're done with occupation jokes now.
Is this another thing about
This-
registering? Like, yeah,
No.
but all the responses were undefined,
No.
undocumented. No, I didn't. What was?
29% of Californians said yes, illegal immigration is a serious problem. And 71% no es un problema serio.
Oh, nice.
All right,
All
I think
right.
we're good.
We are good. Love your kids. That's
Yes,
your
that's your
homework.
dad homework this week. Yeah.
And then after you love them, you have to turn in proof that they know you love them. And we will be grading next week. There will be a test.
Yep. If you have a Halloween or a spooky story or you demon house that you sold to an unsuspecting sucker, send us an email and I'll talk about it on the podcast. We're looking to put, like I said, I'm going to do a month of Halloween content. I'm very excited. This will be the last episode in the month of October that is not Halloween themed. We got some guests coming on. I'm going to bring on some witches to do some Ouija stuff and summon demons for Doug. It's going to be great.
No, we're not doing Ouija stuff. We're not doing it.
I'm sorry. They're
it.
going to use spirit
Sir,
boards. Spirit boards to
I
communicate with demons.
I will end this meeting. They will not do spirit boards. I will not call that shit into my computer. I need this for work.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. we're gonna have a fun month. It's gonna be Tom's Halloween month, and I'm super excited. And Doug is being, tolerant of my obsession with Halloween. So looking forward to that. If you've got stories, send them. Check us out on Reddit, interact with us. I've got good arguments with people. It's fun. Thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you in a week. Go, Dad, go.
Go, Dad, go.